What's going on, guys? Today we're talking WWE 2K24, and more specifically, who should be the cover star. We're going to go over the potential theories of who it could be, and at the end, I'll make my overall conclusion. First off, let's start with the American Nightmare, Cody Rose. To say he's a big deal would be an understatement. Ever since he returned at WrestleMania 38 defeating Seth Rollins, he's been on a roll, having matches against Brock Lesnar, from Backlash to SummerSlam, winning the Royal Rumble, and recently becoming tag team champions with main event Jey Uso. And for him to grace the cover of 2K24, I don't think anyone would have a problem with it, especially if he's main eventing WrestleMania again, which only adds more attention to the game. And if he wins the title this time around and he's on the cover, the eyes on 2K24 will be through the roof. And let's not act like he's gotten less popular since his return. I mean, the fans get louder and louder each time with the whole woe thing they do. It's honestly a no-brainer. Next up, we have the legend killer Randy Orton. Now I know what you're thinking. Hasn't Randy already been the cover star for WWE 12? Yes he has. But there's a reason for this. What if he was the showcase star? You could do his matches against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21, his rivalry with Triple H from 2004 to 2009. You could even let us control Triple H and let us invade Randy's house. And just think of all the John Cena Randy Orton matches. Actually, probably not. My point is that right now, Randy is in a special stage in his career where he's adored immensely by the fans. And since we all miss him and are eagerly awaiting his return, which could happen at Survivor Series, what better way to welcome him back in the video game world? By not only being on the cover, but also being one of the main modes. Okay, it's Tribal Chief time next, aka Roman Reigns. And the story just writes itself, doesn't it? He's the longest reigning champion of the modern era, going on 3 years. He defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Even people who don't watch wrestling know who Roman Reigns is, thanks to the incredible feud that was the Bloodline Saga. And he's been in several movies and shows, such as the Fast and Furious spin-off Hobbs and Shaw, and Nickelodeon's Cousins for Life. And overall, it just makes a lot of sense. And yes, he was the cover of 2K20, what a great game that was. But he hasn't been on the cover as a solo act. And don't forget, back then in 2019, he wasn't the head of the table as he is now. If anything, he was the side of the table. But not anymore. And if he is rumoured to face The Rock at WrestleMania 40, what better way to get more attention than to have him on the cover, a few weeks before the biggest title defense of his career. He's already the highest overall in a WWE game at 99, so why not go all out and put him on the cover? I think it's highly likely. And finally, we have what I believe should be the cover, and that's multiple superstars instead of just one. Now hear me out. So with WWE covers from WWE 12 onwards, we've had one superstar on the cover, with the exception of 2K20. 13 had CM Punk, 14 had The Rock, 15 had John Cena, the list goes on. And I understand the reasoning. By having one star on the cover, it attracts all the attention to that superstar and makes them a bigger deal than they were before, like CM Punk being on the cover. Because at the time, he was able to bring back a lot of lapsed fans because of his edgy promos and his persona. So it made sense to put him on the cover of WWE 13, especially with the Attitude Era mode and everything else. So with 2K24, who's the main star right now? You could argue for Roman Reigns, or Cody Rose, or Seth Rollins, but I'd actually argue that there's multiple stars right now. Stars like Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, LA Knight, Dominic Mysterio, main event Jey Uso. My point is that there's never been a time like this in recent memory where there's been as many stars as there are now. And it's not like WWE haven't done it before. With SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, we had Brock Lesnar in the middle with Rey Mysterio and The Undertaker on the side. And look how good that game was. We had it with WWF No Mercy with the Grey One in the middle, not that great one. And we had Edge and Triple H on the side. SmackDown vs Raw 2010 with John Cena, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, the list goes on. And I know that people are going to compare it to AEW Fight Forever with the cover style, but I think in WWE's case, there isn't a better time to do it than now, because more people might get tempted to buy the game if LA Knight's on the cover, or Rhea Ripley, or even Dominic Mysterio. You just don't know. But what I do know is that the cover for 2K24 should be that. All the big stars on one cover. But what do you guys think? Should we see one star on the cover like Roman Reigns or Cody Rose? Or should it be a multi-person cover like I mentioned earlier? Let me know in the comments below, subscribe, and take care.